Welcome into another video. This time we're talking about our top 5 Dynasty tight ends. Coming in at number 5, we have TJ Hockenson. He's 25 years old. He went over from the Lions. Now he's with the Vikings, and they got rid of Adam Thielen, which should open up even more opportunities for Hockenson to thrive in this offense. Yes, they did get Jordan Addison, the rookie out of USC, to be a wide receiver on the other side of Justin Jefferson. But TJ Hockenson is a big part of this offense. He's a target monster, and Kirk Cousins loves to throw this guy the ball. He was able to produce very, very well last season when he came over to the Vikings and was one of the top tight ends in the NFL after the move to the Vikings. So if you can land TJ Hockenson in your draft, he's definitely going later than a lot of these other guys here. And I think at 25 years old, you're getting yourself a stud at the tight end position now, with the quarterback position kind of in limbo. Yes, Kirk Cousins won't be there forever, so you really don't know what you're going to get after Kirk Cousins leaves. But as of right now, I think Hockenson has the talent to be good no matter who's throwing him the football. And even if there's a rookie quarterback or a younger quarterback, they always like their safety blankets, and tight ends a lot of times are the safety blankets for them. So I think TJ Hockenson is a more safe. I'd probably be a little bit more worried about Justin Jefferson once the quarterback does surpass him. But Hockenson, I think, is a safe bet, and I do definitely have him at number 5 because he has the opportunity of being a good player for your team. You can get him later, so you don't have to spend a high draft capital on TJ Hockenson, and he can easily be a top 3, top 4 type of tight end for you on any given season. So Hockenson is somebody you may want to target, put in your lineup, and if he falls to you, you know, maybe in the 5th or 6th round of a startup dynasty draft, go ahead and grab TJ Hockenson. I think you'll be happy that you had him. So coming in at number 4, we're going with the old man, Travis Kelsey. Yes, I have him at number 4, and I do understand he will be the number 1 tight end this year. The problem is that he's 33 years old, and you never know what year is it that he's going to start to fall off and kind of lose his production. Now, I think what helps him the most is that the Chiefs don't really have a number 1 wide receiver right now, so Kelsey's getting all the opportunity, all the targets, all the red zone looks, all the touchdowns. He's getting everything, but that will change one day, probably as soon as they find a wide receiver that Patrick Mahomes can depend on. He's 33 years old, but that's why he lands at 4 in my position. I'm not saying that he's not the best tight end in the league, because absolutely he is the number 1 tight end in the league. He will be number 1 this year, and he will probably be number 1 next year. But we don't know when that fall off is going to happen. So there was a couple more tight ends that's a lot more younger who has the potential of leapfrogging Kelsey. Could be as early as this year to being the number 1 tight end. So just based off of age alone and just knowing that we're going to have some regression sooner rather than later, I had to put him at number 4 on my list. But everybody knows what Kelsey can provide for your team. He is a mismatch beast. You know, if you have him in your tight end spot, you've already set yourself a step above the rest of the teams in the league. The problem is, if you're in a dynasty startup draft, you don't really want to grab Kelsey because you could be pretty much lighting your 2nd round pick on fire because you took a 33-year-old tight end. So let's move on to number 3. We're going to talk about Dallas Goddard. Now, he is 28 years old. He's about, 5 years younger than Travis Kelsey, so you're going to get more longevity out of him. I think he's doing very, very well. Jalen Hurts loves throwing him the football. He's a good red zone target as well. There's a lot of targets on this offense with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, but Dallas Goddard has shown that he can be a consistent tight end for your fantasy roster. So you can definitely get Dallas Goddard later on in the middle of your startup drafts. He's somebody that may not be high on a lot of people's radars right now. You may be able to go throw out some offers for him and grab him on your team if you are lacking at the tight end position. Dallas Goddard is one of the premier tight ends in this league right now. He's one of the best fantasy football tight ends that you can have on your team, and he's definitely coming in at number 3 on my rankings, just because of number 1, his talent level, number 2, the opportunity, and number 3, the production that he's been able to give us. So coming in at number 2 is something that I want to kind of throw up just a little bit, but he's a 22-year-old freak, and that's Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts has all of the ability to be an amazing tight end, the number 1 fantasy tight end for years to come. The problem is that I don't know if it's between him not understanding the playbook or him just not kind of grasping routes, or is it just because the quarterback's just been straight dog turds? We don't know what the problem is. We'll see if Desmond Ridder can kind of get it together and maybe make Pitt some type of production. But right now, man, even though he's going very, very high in Dynasty still, I think his ADP is still really, really high. But the problem is, if he was able to do what he should be doing, he would be a 1st round Dynasty startup pick all day long based on his age, his height, his speed. All of his metrics are out of this world. He's a freak of nature. The problem is he just hasn't been able to put it together now that he's got a couple years under his belt in the NFL. But I still have him at number 2 right now at Dynasty, just based really solely off of his potential and not necessarily his production. So let's move on to number 1. We're going over the 27-year-old Mark Andrews. We got Lamar Jackson getting his new deal here. They signed Odell Beckham on the outside, which I think will be very good for Mark Andrews, because if there for a while, Mark Andrews was the only guy in town. So people were still been able to hone in on Mark Andrews, and they still wasn't able to stop him because of the amount of volume that Lamar Jackson gives Andrews. These guys love each other. He loves throwing him the ball, and he's a good, secure safety blanket for Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson in general is not the best thrower of the football, so whether it's the short to mediocre type of routes that Mark Andrews gives you, Lamar Jackson's able to do it. He moves around with his legs. The defenses have to account for Lamar Jackson running the football, and boom, bada bing, boom, baps. He's throwing it over to Mark Andrews. Before you know, he's got 10, 15 yards and a first down. So Mark Andrews definitely clearly my number 1 tight end for Dynasty football right now. Still coming at 27 years old, still young as far as tight ends go. Swoop him up. You would definitely be happy that you did, but that definitely concludes all of my tight ends. I think all of these guys, no matter who you get, is going to be solid for your fantasy football team, and I think it's going to be great. I can't wait for this season. So, but that concludes all of my Dynasty tight ends for 2023. As always, thank you for watching the video as we continue to ramp up throughout this off season. That way we can get you best prepared for this upcoming fantasy season. If you wouldn't mind, hit the subscribe button. Really helps out the channel. That way you're always up to date with all the information that we come out here. Leave a comment down below. What did you think about the video? Do you have any thoughts? I love to go back and forth with you guys, and ultimately leave a big like on this video. It really helps out the channel. I can't wait to see you guys on the next video. We'll see you guys next time.